This video will delve into 5 harrowing tales of real-life tragedies within Wrangell-St. Elias National Park. These narratives shed light on the perils lurking in this vast wilderness, illustrating the park's unforgiving nature through accounts of disappearances and accidents. Join us as we explore these gripping accounts and think about the unsettling questions they leave behind. In the sprawling expanses of Wrangell-St. Elias National Park and Preserve, tragedy struck on September 20th, 2020. Austin Pfeiffer, a 22-year-old from Mansfield, Ohio, went on a 10-day hunting trip with his companion, eager to pursue their shared passion for the outdoors. Little did they know their journey would end in a devastating encounter with one of nature's most daunting predators. Austin, described as a skilled tree climber and adept outdoorsman, had a deep-rooted love for the wilderness. His partner, whose identity remains undisclosed, shared his enthusiasm for hunting and exploration. Together, they set out into the remote Cottonwood Creek drainage, bringing with them their determination and desire for adventure. The day before tragedy struck, Austin and his companion successfully hunted a moose, a feat that spoke volumes of their hunting expertise. As they celebrated their triumph under the vast Alaskan sky, little did they anticipate the impending danger in their surroundings. The following morning, they returned to the moose kill site to field dress the animal and return the meat to their campsite. It was a routine task, one they had performed countless times before. As Austin's partner made his way back to the kill site with a load of meat, a grizzly bear suddenly confronted him, its massive form emerging from the dense foliage. In a desperate bid to defend himself, Austin's partner fired several shots at the charging animal, causing it to retreat momentarily. But the respite was short-lived. When Austin's partner returned to the moose carcass, he was met with a scene of horror. Austin was still there, but he was lying there lifeless already. Austin's partner was left grieving and questioning what could have happened to him. It turns out that before the attack on Austin's partner, Austin, unaware of the unfolding tragedy, continued to butcher the moose, his focus consumed by the task. In a cruel twist of fate, the peacefulness present within the forest was shattered by the bear's savage attack. With no defensive weapon, Austin stood defenseless against the onslaught of the wild animal's fury. Austin was instantly overpowered by the animal with no bear spray or even a weapon, causing his unexpected death. After Austin was attacked, the same bear went to attack his partner, who managed to shoot it and drive it away. However, it was all too late. Austin lay lifeless, the victim of a surprise attack that had claimed his life in an instant. Having fled the scene, the bear left only devastation and despair behind. As news of the tragedy spread, the hunting community rallied around Austin's wife, Riley Pfeiffer, offering their support and condolences in the face of unimaginable loss. The National Park Service, in a heartbreaking announcement, confirmed Austin's death as the first known fatal bear mauling in Wrangell-St. Elias National Park since its establishment in 1980. Despite their best efforts, park officials were unable to locate the bear responsible for the attack, leaving lingering questions about the circumstances surrounding Austin's untimely demise. In the wake of the tragedy, theories began to emerge about what could have led to the fatal encounter. Some speculated that the scent of the freshly killed moose may have attracted the bear, while others pointed to the remoteness of the location as a contributing factor. As investigators meticulously sifted through the evidence, piecing together the events leading up to the tragedy, one pressing question loomed large over the hearts and minds of those touched by the sorrowful incident. Could Austin have stood a chance at self-defense had he been armed with bear spray or a firearm? This pivotal query lingered, enveloped in the shadows of speculation and the haunting realm of what-ifs. The circumstances of the event were complex, with variables that made any definitive answer elusive, leaving those involved to grapple with the painful ambiguity surrounding the incident. Amidst this turmoil, Austin's legacy continued to resonate, his spirit vividly alive in the cherished memories and enduring love of friends, family, and all who had the privilege of knowing him. His story, marked by this tragic episode, prompted a deeper reflection on preparedness and safety in the face of nature's unpredictability, ensuring that his memory would serve as a poignant reminder for others venturing into the wilderness. In August 2014, Rob Kerrer and his buddy Greg Mills went on a wild adventure in Wrangell-St. Elias National Park, Alaska. They signed up for the Alaska Mountain Wilderness Classic, a race through seriously tough terrain. Kerrer was no rookie. He'd done this thing 10 times before, but this time things went differently than planned. Before they hit the trail, Kerrer and Mills reviewed maps and gear. They packed food, water, and all the survival stuff they'd need for their trip to the wild. They were ready to tackle the Tana River, a wild beast of a waterway that cut through rugged mountains and dense forests. The first day on the river was like something out of a dream. The sun shone, the water was clear, and Kerrer and Mills felt cheerful and pleased with their trip. They paddled through rapids, dodged rocks, and laughed in the face of danger. But then, things took a turn for the worse. On day 2, disaster struck. Kerrer's raft got sucked into a powerful current, and before Mills could blink, his friend was gone. The river had swallowed him, leaving Mills alone in the wilderness. Panic set in as Mills searched for any sign of his friend, but there was nothing. Just the sound of rushing water and the empty echo of his voice. With no way to call for help and miles of wilderness ahead, Mills knew he had to keep moving to survive. He hoisted his pack onto his shoulders and set off into the unknown, his heart heavy with grief for his lost friend. Mills trudged through the wilderness for days, his mind a whirlwind of emotions. He fought through dense forests, scaled steep mountainsides, and crossed icy rivers while grappling with loneliness and loss. But through it all, he never gave up hope that he would find his way back to civilization. Back home, Kerrer's family and friends were frantic and worried. They organized search parties, contacted local authorities, and prayed for his safe return. But as the days passed by, their hopes began to fade. Search teams combed the wilderness, scouring every inch of the rough terrain for any sign of Kerrer. Helicopters buzzed overhead, dogs sniffed the ground, and volunteers braved the elements in search of their missing friend. But despite their best efforts, Kerrer remained elusive. As the search dragged on, theories emerged about what might have happened to Kerrer. Some said he had drowned in the river, while others speculated that a wild animal had attacked him. But without any solid evidence to go on, his fate remained a mystery. Then, just when all hope seemed lost, a miracle occurred. A helicopter spotted a lone figure stumbling through the wilderness, his face weathered and worn from days of hardship. It was Mills, alive and barely hanging on, but with no sign of Kerrer. Mills was airlifted to safety and reunited with his family, but the joy of his survival was overshadowed by the lingering question of what had happened to Kerrer. His disappearance left a void in the hearts of those who knew him, a void that could never be filled. Search efforts were launched immediately after Kerrer was discovered missing, with aerial and ground teams scouring the riverbanks for any sign of him. The Alaska Air National Guard, pilots from Ultima Thule Lodge, and locally hired ground searchers joined forces in a desperate bid to find him. After hours of searching, Rob's body was finally located on a gravel bar, approximately 2.5 miles downstream from where he was last seen. The news sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community of Wilderness Classic participants, who had come to know Rob as a friend and fellow adventurer. His death marked the first-ever fatality in the history of the Wilderness Classic, a terrifying reminder of the risks that come with exploring the wild. Despite the tragedy, Rob's friends and family took solace in the knowledge that he had died doing what he loved, surrounded by the beauty of the Alaskan wilderness. Peter Pye Inglis was no stranger to the call of the mountains. From his early days exploring the snow-covered slopes near Smuggler's Notch in Vermont, to his later adventures guiding clients through the rough lands of Colorado, he had always felt most alive when surrounded by the beauty of the great outdoors. Growing up in Vermont, Pye's love for skiing and mountaineering was fostered by his family. His parents, avid outdoor enthusiasts themselves, instilled in him a deep appreciation for the natural world and a sense of adventure that would stay with him for the rest of his life. As he grew older, Pye's passion for adventure only intensified. After graduating from college, he moved to Telluride, Colorado, where he immersed himself in the mountain culture and began honing his ski patroller and guide skills. It wasn't long before he earned a reputation as one of the best in the business, known for his undeniable dedication to safety and unparalleled backcountry knowledge. But Pye's thirst for adventure knew no bounds. In addition to his work in Colorado, he led expeditions to some of the world's most remote and challenging peaks, from the towering peaks of the Himalayas to the icy slopes of the Alps. His clients trusted him implicitly, knowing that he would always put their safety above all else. In 2015, Pi found himself drawn to the wilds of Alaska, where he began working as a guide for the Ultima Thule Lodge in the Wrangell-St. Elias National Park and Preserve. Here, amidst the beauty of the Alaskan wilderness, that tragedy struck and changed everything. On April 1st, while leading a group of clients on a backcountry skiing expedition, Pi fell victim to a treacherous cornice. The snowpack, which had seemed stable just moments before, gave way beneath him, sending him tumbling down the mountainside to his death. Pi's passing shocked the mountain community, leaving his friends, colleagues, and admirers grieving. For those who knew him, Pi's death was a terrifying example of the dangers that come hidden in the mountains they loved so dearly. For Pi's wife, Julie Hodson, and their families, the pain of his loss was immeasurable. But amidst the grief, they found peace and closure in the memories they shared with Pi, the adventures they had gone on together, and the knowledge that he had lived life to the fullest. As they struggled with the reality of his death, they took comfort in knowing that Pi had died doing what he loved, surrounded by the mountains he cherished. And though his physical presence may have been taken from them too soon, his spirit would live on in the wild places he called home. As the mountain community mourned the loss of one of its own, they were left to ponder the questions that lingered in the air. What if Pi's death could have been prevented? What if he had been more cautious? What if he had chosen a different path? These questions served as a harsh reminder of the risks of venturing into the wilderness, a reminder that even the most experienced and skilled mountaineers were not immune to the dangers of the mountains. As they grappled with these questions, they vowed to honor Pi's memory by continuing to explore the wild places he loved, but always with a sense of caution and respect for the beauty of the natural world. David Schreider, a distinguished professor at Miami University, met his untimely demise on a tragic day in June 2021 while hiking in the vast expanse of Wrangell-St. Elias National Park and Preserve in Alaska. The events leading up to his sad fall paint a picture of a man deeply passionate about his academic pursuits and his love for the great outdoors. Before his ill-fated expedition, David Schreider was known among his colleagues and students as a dedicated educator and a valued member of the Miami University community. With a career spanning over 2 decades at the Farmer School of Business, Schreider had earned a reputation as a dynamic and engaging professor. His commitment to his students was evident in his tireless efforts to provide them with the best possible learning experience. Outside of the classroom, Schreider was an avid adventurer, often seeking relaxation and inspiration in the beauty of nature. His passion for hiking and exploration had taken him to some of the most breathtaking landscapes across the globe. This same sense of adventure led him to go on the ascent of Donoho Peak, a towering summit within the Alaskan wilderness. Joined by his son and a group of close friends and family members, Schreider set out on June 25, 2021, eager to conquer the challenging terrain ahead. The day dawned with promise, the crisp mountain air filled with anticipation and excitement. Little did they know that tragedy lurked just around the corner. As they made their way up the slope of Donoho Peak, the group paused periodically to catch their breath and admire the breathtaking scenery. It was during one such moment of rest that disaster struck. Without warning, Schreider lost his footing and tumbled down the steep incline, falling approximately 150 feet. The echo of his desperate cry for help echoed through the wilderness. By the time his companions reached him, it was too late. Schreider lay motionless, his life gone in an instant. Shock and disbelief swept over the group as they grappled with the reality of what had just happened. His son, overcome with grief, immediately dialed emergency services in a desperate attempt to summon help. In the aftermath of Schreider's tragic fall, theories emerged regarding the circumstances surrounding his untimely demise. Some speculated that he may have lost his footing on the treacherous terrain, while others suggested the possibility of a sudden medical emergency. However, without concrete evidence to support any theory, the actual cause of his fall remained uncertain. As news of Schreider's passing spread, an outpouring of grief swept the Miami University community and beyond. Colleagues, students, and friends mourned the loss of a beloved educator and cherished friend. His absence left a void that could never be filled, his memory forever etched in the hearts of all who knew him. In the wake of this tragedy, What if someone had been there to catch him as he fell? What if the group had taken a different route up the mountain? These questions lingered in the minds of those left behind, and his memory will forever live on through the lives of the people whom he inspired and taught. Rochelle Rankin and Michael Huffman, retirees from the Missouri Department of Conservation, went on a hiking trip in Wrangell-St. Elias National Park, Alaska, in June 2018. Rankin, a 62-year-old research scientist, and Huffman, also 62, shared a passion for the outdoors and were eager to explore the rugged wilderness of Alaska. They had carefully planned their journey, packing essential gear and preparing for the challenges ahead. Their trip began near the Sanford Glacier, where they were dropped off by a small aircraft. Excitement coursed through their veins as they set foot on the remote terrain, ready to immerse themselves in nature's wonders. Rankin and Huffman, seasoned backpackers with years of experience, were well prepared for the demands of the Alaskan wilderness. Their initial days were filled with awe-inspiring vistas and thrilling encounters with wildlife. They gazed upon the towering mountains, vast glaciers, and lakes surrounding them. Despite the physical exertion required by their journey, they relished every moment, grateful for the opportunity to explore such remote and untouched landscapes. However, they encountered challenges that tested their resilience as they explored the wilderness. Unpredictable weather patterns, dangerous terrain, and limited resources constantly hindered their progress. Despite this, Rankin and Huffman pressed on, driven by their shared determination and love for adventure. Days passed and nights went on as they traversed the terrain, setting up camp wherever nightfall caught up with them. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day as they relied on each other for support and companionship. Despite the isolation of their surroundings, they found peace in each other's presence, finding joy in life's simple pleasures. However, their journey took a tragic turn when they attempted to cross the Sanford River. Caught off guard by a sudden surge in water levels, they were swept away by the powerful current. Desperately clinging to each other, they fought against the raging waters, but their efforts were in vain. In a cruel twist of fate, they were separated, their cries drowned out by the roaring sound of the river. As the days passed without any word from Rankin and Huffman, concern grew among their friends and family back home. June 27th, the day they were scheduled to be picked up, came and went with no sign of the hikers. It was on July 1st that a breakthrough came when search teams stumbled upon footprints along the banks of the Sanford River. The discovery of the footprints offered a glimmer of hope to their loved ones, who had been anxiously awaiting news of their fate. However, as the search continued, their hopes were dashed when Rankin and Huffman's backpacks were found abandoned along the riverbank. It was a heartbreaking sight. Despite the exhaustive search efforts, a grim discovery was made. Rankin and Huffman's lifeless bodies were spotted along the banks of the Sanford River. Their death shocked their community, leaving their friends and family grappling with grief and disbelief. Rankin, known for her dedication to wildlife conservation, had spent 28 years working for the Missouri Department of Conservation. Her passion for the environment had touched the lives of many, leaving a lasting impact on those she encountered. Huffman, a beloved advocate for outdoor recreation, had devoted his life to promoting the benefits of nature and conservation efforts. His kind heart and adventurous spirit had endeared him to all who knew him, leaving behind a legacy that would not be forgotten on Wrangell-St. Elias National Park. The memory of Rankin and Huffman lives on. Their story reminds us that life is unpredictable, and we never really know what's hiding in our surroundings when exploring the wild.